Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. It's the OG crew here, Mr. Jonathan Tran. What's going on, brother? Another season in the books here for us. I don't know how many years we've been doing this, but it's been a while. So it's good to have you back on here for another promising Texas Longhorn season of football.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been long enough to have Jordan crying, waking up from a nap in one of the videos. That's how long it is. So
That was that was post Maryland, I think.
uh,
hmm
good times. We're getting old, dude.
We're getting old, man.
I
We're getting old. Tomorrow's my birthday.
know.
Like as
Happy
of this
birthday.
recording,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, when people see this, it might be my birthday. I don't know, but no, I appreciate it. But it's, um, I don't even know if I was in my 30s when we
That's
was
crazy.
I. No, I wasn't in my 30s when we started doing this, which is crazy. Like just big picture perspective. I'm now, in my late 30s,
And
which is
it's awesome
crazy.
to have a smile on our face doing these videos too.
I know we are because we're in the good times, brother. Who would have thought all these years later we'd be coming in previewing number one ranked Texas versus the defending national champions, number two ranked Ohio State Buckeyes? Like, just saying that out loud for perspective, especially those of you who have watched us over the years, those of you who are like Tran, who had, babies or didn't have kids yet, maybe weren't even married yet. And now y'all been rolling with us via childcare while you're going to appointments, all the type of things when you would listen to us or watch us. It's been a journey for all of us as Texas fans. So this is definitely the fun period, the easy period, honestly, to be a Texas fan. It's easy to be on the bandwagon right now,
Yeah.
and it should be, right, because it's been fun. I've said this before, Tran. I'm not a big preseason rankings guy, but big picture perspective, the number one ranking in the AP poll and the coaches poll is a testament to Steve Sarkisian and the job that he's done building this program since 2021 when Chris Del Conte brought him in. And that's when I look at that, like, I'm like, okay, he was brought in. First year we go 5-7, and this is only year 5. He's entering year 5. And we've checked off a lot of boxes, right? The draft picks, the All American recognition, award winning recognition. We did win the Big 12 conference. Now we're, kind of teetering at winning the SEC, made the playoffs back to back years, top 5 finishes for the season. I mean, really, you're kind of looking for your breakthrough for a national championship and SEC championship, right? I mean, Texas is pretty much checking all the other boxes you can think of, Trent.
Yeah. Yeah. In 5 short years, it's been great. Like I said, it's you can't say that we're t-shirt fans, like, because we have many hours of us just stewing to get to this point. We Andy Dufresne it. I said it's like we climbed through a quarter mile of shit to get where we are.
Bro, chiseling away under the poster on a daily basis, just trying to get to freedom, minding our business, you know, making sure taking care of the warden's books. Look at us now, brother.
Look at us now.
Look at us now. Now it's a fun time. What a time to be alive. And this kind of sets the scene to where we want to get to, because obviously we're going to be previewing our season opener. We will be giving predictions at the end of this video. We also will be giving our season predictions for Texas at the end of this video. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, the whole bit. At this point, we just doing it for the love of the game, baby. I mean, like I was caught up in views and subscribers and all that type of stuff. But at this point, man, it's the love of the game. I mean, we're very blessed. We've accomplished a lot in our professional careers. You and your coaching career with your son. Your son has been featured on NFL flag football. Y'all went to Canton this summer. For those that don't know, Jordan is 8U, 9U, like just been a crazy journey. So this is just us to just talk ball, have fun, and talk about our favorite football team, right? So
Agreed.
number one ranked Texas versus the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Texas road dogs coming into this season. Obviously Arch Manning his first road start, and going up against Ryan Day, the team that eliminated us from the playoffs in the Cotton Bowl. We were both there, front and center on 4th and goal when Jack Sawyer had the strip with Quinn Ewers. And now here we are, opportunity to get revenge, opportunity to start the season 1-0, opportunity to show people why we're ranked number one, an opportunity again to go on the road against a big time blue blood and show our worth. We did it 2023. We went to Alabama against Nick Saban and that crew and got it done, double-digit win on the road when nobody had ever done that against Nick Saban on the road. We went and beat the national championship winners last year in Michigan, and now we have this opportunity. So as you look at this game, man, when you think about this opportunity that we have, hey, big picture, just what's your take on it before we even get into matchups and whatnot? Because this is a historical moment in college football with having these two teams open the season.
Yeah, it's not only that; it's like a rare back-to-back for us.
Because, I know, same team.
It's the same team that they ended our season, and we get to begin our season with them. So, I mean, a lot of coaches always talk about like every season starts with a story, and like a lot of people are hating the fact that this is the first game of the real college football season. Like, yeah, I mean, they had Iowa State and Kansas and some team. I forgot who they played, to tell you the truth. Fresno. They played Fresno State.
Oh, yeah, the Kansas game.
But this is like the first real true game of the season. And I'm excited about it. And I'm glad. I'm really glad that Texas started doing this, making it for the fans, because once the playoffs kicked off, losses in non-conference play don't really factor in that much, to tell you the truth. If you take a chance to,
it can only really help you.
Yeah, it can only help you. And we get to see that. We get to see also a youth movement, not just from Texas' standpoint, but also from Ohio State's standpoint. I mean, Ohio State had 14 people drafted. What do we have, 12 or 13 people drafted?
13. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we are both teams are replacing a lot of talent, but like I think it was Josh Pate.
Mm-hmm.
He said something very, very interesting when I was watching one of his videos, is that he was saying, oh, it doesn't matter if they're in Texas. I just know that if they're in Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, those are the schools that if the coaches say that they're reloaded, they're reloaded. They have people in the wings. So we have gotten to that spot where we just reload, and we're starting that factory. We used to talk about, hey, whatever happened to the factory that is Texas? And we're starting to get that back, because we've had multiple years in a row now that we've drafted over 10 plus players. And we'll probably continue that trend this year if kids ball out the way that we expect them to ball out.
Agree.
And it's and it's two blue blood programs going at it. I mean, and they get to play free. Like they get to understand that, if we lose this game, it's not the end of the world.
No. And I mean, these are the tests you want. I mean, think about it this way, right? Last week we reacted. I mean, we didn't react on this channel, but we were in the background with Billy and BA about the SEC moving to a 9-game schedule, but the requirement or the mandate that you must play in your non-conference, obviously that's going to go from 4 games to 3 games. You're going to have to play a big time ACC, Big 10 or Big 12 opponent, right? And so, that's keeping this. That's the best for college football fans. Is it the best situation for SEC teams if they want to, have all of the notoriety that they want record wise? Probably not, because it makes it more difficult. But that also tells me they've probably negotiated and figured out the automatic seeding wherever the playoffs are going to go, so that they don't get knocked for it. Because if they have a certain amount of seeds that they're going to get, then you shouldn't really be bitching about playing 8 conference games
Agreed.
versus 9.
I
So
don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like I'm an SEC guy now, right? But hey, we're the big bad SEC, and you're talking about arguing about playing one other Power Four conference opponent. We've been doing this for what, 6 years?
yeah, we have, and we've been
Seriously,
scheduling strong out of
strong. Yeah.
conference. Yes, we have.
So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the woe is me that we have to play a tough schedule. No. To me, it's no more cupcakes. Let's actually get the teams out there that are hardened and ready to play. In my eyes,
Yeah, you want to be battle tested, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coaches want to level up and see where they're at. I mean, this is the evolution of college football. This is where we currently stand. I think Texas has been good about, especially under the direction of CDC and Steve Sarkisian, about being forward thinking in how they prepare for these things, so that they're not. Very rarely have you've seen Texas get caught flat footed with certain things and change, right? I mean, really since the advent of NIL.
Yep.
4 or 5 years ago. So I give him a lot of credit there. Let's get into the game. In terms of this matchup, obviously Arch, his first road start. Julian Sayin being named the starting quarterback for Ohio State. Lauded recruit. He was, depending on how you feel about him or DJ Lagway or whatever, Julian Sayin was arguably the number one quarterback coming out of high school in the 2024 class. Was Nick Saban's last quarterback recruit. So that tells you a lot. He was the last quarterback recruit under Nick Saban. Obviously, once Nick retired, Kalen DeBoer comes in. He transfers to Ohio State very early on. So he's really been developing under Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, Chip Kelly last year, who is now gone, a member offensive coordinator now for the Las Vegas Raiders. When you look at this matchup, both sides, like you already pointed out, the youth movement and the new faces that we're going to see on Saturday. What's the most intriguing matchup to you, Tran? What are you looking at?
I am looking at, and this might shock a lot of people. It has nothing really to do with a Texas player themselves. It has everything to do with an Ohio State player, and it's Caleb Downs. I think he may be the most outstanding player on the field. Defensively, Arch is going to want to take shots against him, and be cautious of that young man. He is a extraordinary talent at the safety position. But not only that, last year we were horrible at special teams. Who's the guy who's returning punts for them? Who's the guy who's returning kickoffs for them?
Yeah,
Caleb Downs. So I'm very interested to see how we shore him up and we bracket him or keep him out of the game, keep his name out of the game, because we didn't really do that in when we played them in the Cotton Bowl. We like the safety position. Lathan, shout out to Gotti's little nephew, Lathan and Caleb both had their names called and had big moments. Caleb had an interception, game-sealing interception. Lathan Ransom had that tackle on first and goal that bumped us back to the 8-yard line. So I mean that their safety play is something that I'm going to be looking at, and also the special teams against our special teams.
Yeah, no, that's a big key, and I'm going to be doing a video of the 5 keys for Texas if they want to win a national championship. And yes, special teams is one of them. Mm-hmm. It was horrible, but I also think it was a off year for Jeff Banks. I don't think it was the standard because I thought our special teams was terrific in 2023.
Bring the monkey back.
I thought and I know he's trying to get back on track. This unit back on track. I know that's been an emphasis for Texas in the offseason for the special teams. For me, it's this defense. It's this pass rush against Julian Sayin. Look, the stat is all over the place. I just did some Bleacher Report stuff earlier. We're not hiding from the stat, okay? First time starting quarterbacks versus number one AP teams in the history of college football are 0-18. We do not want to make that 1-18. Okay, it's very, very simple. There's a reason for that. Okay, typically the number one team has what? Pretty good defense, probably a great defense. Mm-hmm. And navigating that is typically very challenging for anybody. I don't care how talented you are when you first start, right? We're not even talking about, um, and we're talking in this case, he hasn't, he's only been in college for a year. So, and he had to compete for the job. He had to beat out Lincoln Kleinholz, and as good as Ryan Day quarterbacks have been, and I expect Julian Sayin to have not only a great Ohio State career, I expect him to have a great season. I think he is the goods. I think he's very, very talented. I don't see how you can fail with the weapons that they have around him. They may have the best set of pass catchers, in my opinion, in the country, starting with arguably the best player in the country, Jeremiah Smith. Opposite of him is a 5-star stud that not a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with till the season starts, but he's a kid named Mylan Graham. He wears number 5. Then you got Brandon Ennis inside, another former 5-star player. Then you got Carnell Tate coming back, former 5-star player who had, I think, 7 or 8 catches for 87 yards against us in the Cotton Bowl because Will Howard and Chip Kelly and them were very patient and didn't force Jeremiah Smith the ball. They took what was open between when we, obviously had a lot of attention on Jeremiah Smith. We had a lot of attention on Emeka Akuba as well, who's now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went to Tate, right? And he came through. So all of those guys are there. Oh, and by the way, they got Max Clare, all-world tight end from Purdue, who we were trying to get in the portal. He ends up going to Ohio State. So they've actually upgraded at the tight end position. I think he's a way better tight end than G. Scott was for them last year. So those are the weapons that Julian Sayin gets to start out with. Now, where I look at this matchup with the Texas defense is he's going to be seeing a front featuring Colin Simmons, probably the best pass rush overall in the country that Texas will feature, not just from the opposite end with Ethan Burke and some of the other, Trey Moore, where he kind of lines up, but the overall depth and talent of that Texas front. And this Texas defense that can really legit say they have All-American at all 3 levels of the defense. Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, Michael Taft. That's a lot to navigate for your first college football start, whether you're at home or not. So I look at Mac Brown was asked this on their podcast with Vince Young, and one of the things he said was with young quarterbacks, and I've said this all offseason, they're going to come out, they're going to try to get him some rhythm throws, Tran. What? Bubble screen.
Quick little bubble screen.
Quick hitters, quick hitch. And a lot of that stuff is going to be what? Away from the middle of the field. Because that's where you either win or lose the game. Let's just be honest. You were talking about Caleb Downs, right? What did Ohio State really master last year when they moved him to the middle of the defense? That's where everything got messy for everybody that played them, because you're trying to avoid that. That's where everything gets confusing, and you really, really need to know what you're doing as a quarterback to navigate the middle of the field. So if I'm Texas and if I'm Pete Kwiatkowski, I'm playing assuming this kid is going to come out. They're going to try to. They're not going to ask him to just drop back and stare down Michael Taft and these guys and try to read coverages, right? I expect the ball to be coming out very quickly. But can Texas make them one-dimensional, right? Can they make them play on 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7? And what does that mean, Tran? That not only means protecting the screens, but it also means stopping the run. Because here's the good news for Texas. I think James Peoples is going to be a very good running back. I think he's very talented. Anybody that runs the rock at Ohio State is very talented. They have the West Virginia transfer and CJ Donaldson coming in as well. So that's kind of going to be at least projected to be their 1-2 punch. That's not Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson, bro.
No.
Them dudes were arguably, they had probably 2 top 5 backs in all of college. Not probably, they did.
Yeah.
They did. Travion Henderson right now is going in the top 5 rounds of fantasy football right now with the New England Patriots. And whenever Quinshon Judkins gets his contract situated, he's going to be the starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. They had both of those guys on their roster that we had to deal with in January. So it is not the same thing. Texas defense has to make the game one-dimensional. They cannot allow Ohio State to establish any type of run game, in my opinion, because Julian Saint is not a runner either. So it's really incumbent upon our front and those guys to handle their business in the run game, Trey, in my opinion.
We just got to make them pay. You touched on all those great points that I do agree with. Other things to add in is like they're replacing both their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
You got to make them pay. Right? I mean, we always talk about that. You can't let people off the hook. It's like you said Steve Sarkisian has been here for 6 years now. This is sixth year.
This is we're going into year 5.
Pete Kwiatkowski has been there for most of it.
All of it.
All of it. Okay, yeah. So you've had consistency throughout this. You should know what you're going to do against this team. Go out
there.
They
have the most consistent staff of anybody in Power 5 right now.
And shut up their crowd early. Give them no reason to think that they can play with us on this day. And then move on. Does Ohio State have the capability to play with us? 100%.
Yeah, we're trying to get to. Yes. We're trying to get what they got. They're the defending national champions. Absolutely.
Go out there, and I will say this: I do love the little swagger and the attitude that our boys have been talking with. I do. It's not being cocky. It's not being immature or anything like that. They just know that they're good. Now go out there and prove it.
I agree. Yep. Arch, today he set the tone. Target's not on our back. We got the red dot on everybody else. Look, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. Okay. And that's standing on business. Colin Simmons, been, putting the picture of Julian Saint on his Instagram.
Did you hear what he said? Like they asked him about it. Like why'd you put him on there? He goes, I was just happy they finally named a starter. He was like, I'm happy we get to play them. I'm happy I get to sack him. That's what he said.
That's the type of kid that he is, man. That's the type of competitor that he is. That's the kid I saw at Duncanville as a junior carrying his team to a state championship. He was a talker. That's what they do. Like Arch talks. Arch has a personality, folks. Like he's not quiet like Quinn was. Now Quinn had a quiet confidence. There's a difference. Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you ain't a killer. But they're different. These guys are going to, if you ask them how they feel, they're going to tell you how they feel. They ain't shy. And I like that energy. Is the leaders of my football team, number one. But especially going into a hostile situation like Columbus will be at the shoe. There's a reason why Ohio State's favored. That's one of the reasons why they're favored in this game. Is that atmosphere? Is that environment? Texas, people asking questions. Let's go to the offense, Tran. People talking about Texas has 4 new starting offensive linemen. Arch, obviously, his first road start. The receiver situation, while we feel really good about the receivers, Ryan Wingo played a ton last year. Now he's going to be asked to be the number 1. Matthew Golden is now with the Green Bay Packers. Isaiah Bonds now with the Cleveland Browns. Gunnar Helms with the Tennessee Titans. These were kind of the lead guys along with Quinn. So when we look at the matchup, with this Texas offense going into the shoe, I think I'm excited for one thing. Ohio State is also going to have new faces on that defense. I think we're a little bit better positioned with our defense experience-wise to keep the standard going from what we saw last season than even with Ohio State. In that, even though, look, I'm aware that they bringing back the corners, they're bringing back Caleb Downs, they're bringing back the Sonny Styles at middle linebacker. Yep. Styles is going to be an NFL player as well, maybe even an early round pick. He's rocking number 0. But here's the big key for me. When you tell me that we have 4 new offensive linemen starting, yes, they've started a lot of games between 3 of them. Trevor Gooseby, DJ Campbell, who is the returning starter, and Cole Hudson, who was a full-time starter at guard his freshman year and has started games when DJ was injured. He's just moving to a new position at center, but he's played a lot of football at Texas. He is not new to this. Okay. Ohio State's starting 4 new defensive linemen. Let's talk about that. The fact that JT Tuamalo, Ty Leak, Ty
Mm-hmm.
Williams, and Jack Sawyer are all in the NFL. All 4 starters. Now, I understand the backups that are there now that are taking over. Kenyatta, Caden Curry, those guys played a lot. I get it. Like they're veterans, but they haven't played. They haven't played full. Like there's a reason why y'all were behind all them dudes, right? So to me it's not the disadvantage that people think it is when it looks at the Texas offense, especially being able to establish the run, stay balanced, and understanding that our defense is going to be trying to put pressure on Julian saying what I'm looking for my offense is not trying to do too much. Execute, run the offense. If we have better kicking game now with our punter, we can play field position early. We don't have to be out there going crazy or anything like that and putting the ball in harm's way and allow the game really to come to us the way Will Howard and them did in the Cotton Bowl. They were, if you remember, Ohio State kind of let the game come to them offensively. I think we can do that with Arch Tran in this game. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, we've had many months to prep for it and think about it and obsess about it. I don't know if they do in college. Do they give away their championship rings the first game like they
I
do
don't know.
for
I
or
don't think
anything like
it's
that?
I don't think it's the
Yeah,
same
it's
because it's
not right.
not. Yeah,
Yeah, because I know that there's a huge hangover after those type of celebrations. Like if you look at the NBA, there's like a huge loss margin of it because their attention's off of it. But yeah, I think Arch is has it between the ears, and he can I understand like portions of the game like game time decisions and things like that. And he could go back and forth whether he needs to like step on the gas or hey, let's ease back a little bit and calm down. I think that name on the back of his jersey like tells me that he's able to do that.
I think too when you look at how we handled the Michigan environment last year, I look for us to have a similar approach offensively because look, you can say what you want about Michigan's offensive situation and the quarterbacks and all of that, but that Michigan defense, look at all those dudes that are in the NFL right now
Yeah.
that just came off of that last year's defense. They were
Yep.
still really good. I mean, they had the top 5 pick in Mason Graham out there. So when we look at how we attacked them, we were really good on third down, and we were aggressive early in early downs, like really attacking them and moving the ball downfield via pass and showing we weren't scared. And when I say conservative, I'm not saying we're handing the ball off in a cloud of dust or whatnot, but I'm what I'm saying is with the prep that you're talking about, we kind of know what we're trying to execute and run real early in the game before we start talking about adjustments and whatnot. Because Matt Patricia is another former NFL defensive coordinator, former NFL head coach, who's now calling that defense for Ohio State. They claim that he will be calling the same defense that Jim Knowles was running there. But these dudes and their egos, they're going to have their own spin on it. Like Matt Patricia, when he was at the Patriots, he liked to play press man. So I expect to see his fingerprints on it, just like Wink Martindale,
Pull out the
who was,
pencil.
yeah, I expect to see some things there. But to Sark historically has been really good against the former NFL guys and attacking them, especially when they want to get exotic. He's been very, very good at that. And you talk about the prep. Sark, to me, as a play caller and as a play designer, really has shown his best stuff in the early Bama games, in the early Michigan game, when we've had the extra time. People talk about Ryan Day with extra time. Same thing applies to Sark. So I expect us to have even if we're not, scoring at some crazy rate, I expect us to look solid and good offensively. The key thing to me, the thing I'm worried about, this is where I'm more concerned. Can we establish the run? I do think Ohio State's going to try to make us one dimension. Same thing applies to us that we were talking about with Julian saying. Can we establish the run? And is Sark going to get carried away with Arch now that he has him full menu? Not doing too much. Because one of the things that I've thought about is last year we got called for a lot of pre-snap penalties in the
Mm-hmm.
Michigan game because we're running an NFL offense. It's a complicated offense. We do a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. And Cam Williams was jumping. We had sometimes a tight end, Jake Majors had snap infraction. Like these are things where you don't want to get behind the chains against Caleb and these guys.
Don't get me
And
started
sometimes
about
on
the
the
snaps.
well, he's not the center anymore, but
I
still,
know.
like with all of what we have going on pre-snap, sometimes it's in these environments it's better just to kind of line up and play and let the kids feel their way through it. But that is a concern for me because I think Sark can sometimes get a little carried away. What say you to that? And what concerns do you have? Because that's a big concern for me. And maybe that's not a concern for you.
My concerns are we give the young kid the quarterback confidence. That's my concerns. Like honestly, is like give him short fields or something like that. We turn the
Mm,
ball over or something like that. And I think that we're ready to play them. Yes, I do, but it's the first game and sloppiness happens. Like weird stuff happens on the first game that you're just not used to game speed, legitimate game speed, and you're jumping right into a powerhouse like Ohio State. They definitely have our respect. They're the defending national champs, and we have to go into their house. The shoe is a giant, loud atmosphere, and they love their Ohio State football. Trust me, like they do. And going in there as your first true road start, I
it's
mean,
not
it's
easy.
it's not easy. It's not an easy thing, but that's what you sign up for when you come to Texas as one of the most predominant uh, NFL quarterback families in the world. Yeah,
It's funny you say that because one of the keys for me, and this will be another key for the season, Arch's mobility. One of the biggest differences that we will see is his playmaking ability with his feet, whether it's running the football himself or creating for others in the pass game inside the pocket and outside the hashes, and using that to his advantage, even in crucial situations. I do think this is going to be a low scoring game. When I say low scoring game, I think the point over under right now is at 48. I've been saying all off season, I think this thing is going to come in at the under reasons like you said. If you look at the Iowa State Kansas State game that just got played in Ireland, those were two veteran quarterbacks that went against each other. You had not only veteran quarterbacks, but two quarterbacks that had over 25 touchdowns the year before each between Avery Johnson and Rocco Beck. And they still came in. That game was what, 23-20? So they came in at 43 points. And it was sloppy. Now
yeah,
they both made their plays and they both showed why they both had multiple touchdowns eventually, but it was a very slot. I understand it was wet. The field was it was the soccer field out there. I get all that. But you saw that rust on both teams, right? Like Kansas State, I expect them to be way more buttoned up during the season. I expect Iowa State to be like not making the mistakes that we were seeing them make. But that was with two veteran quarterbacks and two very good defenses. And it was a 23-20 game. I think we're going to be around that range with this game and these defenses. My thing is this. If you look at 2005, 20 years ago, Vince Young was not perfect when he went to the shoe. That was a tough game we had to navigate. There was a lot of adversity we had to overcome during the game. They did a really good job shutting the run down. He had to either run it himself or throw the ball. Jamal Charles ended up catching, I think, 6 passes for 70 yards in that game, but he only ran for like 20 yards. Like they did a great job of making us one dimensional. They picked off Vince twice. But when we needed it, when we had to have it, he was able to be a playmaker, whether it was from the pocket, when he threw the game winner, or some of the clutch runs he had to move the chains. That's what I'm talking about with Arch. I'm not talking about him coming out and looking like 2019 Joe Burrow, just off rip, no reps, just putting up crazy numbers, or even Michael Penix. I'm not talking about that. But what I am saying is, in those critical moments, third and seven, let's say 2 minute drill trend, game's 10-3, and we're trying to get points before the half, whether we're trying to tie it up or make it a 2-score game. It's 3rd and 7. I'm talking about him using his legs to get that first down, right? Those moments right there where you move the chains, because that's what I saw Rocco Beck do with Iowa State last week, where they put the game in his hands at the end of the game, 4th and 3. It was like, hey, should we chill, kick it, and take and extend the lead? And the coaches were like, nah, we trust our quarterback. He's going to make the right decision and make a play on this down, right? It's not necessarily a shootout, but in this moment, he can deliver for us. That's what I want to see from Arch. I think he will have to go through some adversity in this game. I don't think it's just going to be smooth sailing. If it is, let's party. If they go full BTA, that'd be awesome, right? But these guys are really good for a reason, right? I mean, they held us to 14 points last year. So I do think he's going to have those moments where his mobility, his playmaking aspect is just the difference. Ohio State has it covered. They have everything accounted for, and he's just able to figure it out and make a play, Tran. That's what I'm looking to see.
I hope you're wrong, and I hope it is like Joe Burrow out the gates.
Now, I say Joe Burrow because Arch does remind me, confidence wise, and of him, and I know that's a guy he modeled coming out of Louisiana, and Coach O has talked a lot about it when they were recruiting Arch, and you can kind of tell he has that kind of demeanor. Like, Joe Burrow's not quiet either. Joe Burrow will be talking. He talks his shit, but he's cool, and I see the same type of energy from Arch, right? I'm only saying that because I don't see a Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on this team. No disrespect to our boys, but that he also had 2 generational Infinity Stones
We
at receiver.
we may have it on this team. It just might be behind us right now.
I mean, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
You remember one of them was a 3-star athlete.
Oh yeah, Justin Jefferson. I mean, yeah. And Chase was a Kansas kid, but they started. I mean, they were showing those signs the season before, if you know what I mean. Like, Justin Jefferson was coming off a 1,000-yard season.
Yeah,
the year before.
No, I'm talking about
went nuclear.
You're
I don't know.
We had a great.
To me, that's like the once in a lifetime type thing.
I mean, I'm just saying we may have some that we just haven't seen yet. They haven't been unleashed.
All right. Well, let's get to what the folks want to hear, right? Who's gonna win? So I'll start with you. What's your score prediction for this game, and how do we do it, Trey?
I have it 24-17 Texas. And the way we do it is, I think we do get pressure on it. I think we get pressure on our defense. We actually are the ones who get shortened fields, and we're able to capitalize a little bit on it. I do think that breaking in a brand new quarterback who doesn't have any game experience for the most part, especially in an environment that is probably going to be other than the Michigan game this year, will probably be the most electric environment that he's going to play in, is going to be just a little bit overwhelming for him.
I'm in the same vein as you, but I'm going to go, and I normally don't do this. I'm normally very conservative with these projections, but I'm going to go 27-13, which is still under the 48 points. So we're both under. But the reason why I'm going 27-13 is I really think our defense is that good. I think they are really ready to hunt and pursue this Ohio State team, this Ohio State offensive line, which I don't know if they'll be able to handle. Ohio State sent multiple guys to the NFL off that offensive line themselves, which was already a team, which, you go back and look at that game, we were getting pressure on Will Howard, even with what was there last year, and generating holding calls and all sorts of chaos.
Colin Simmons caused chaos last year.
Absolutely. And, you think of how Ohio State got to 28 points in that game. Jack Sawyer, one was a non-offensive touchdown. And then they had two legit drives where they drove the ball down the field on our defense and scored touchdowns. That I'm like, the TreVeyon Henderson, obviously the infamous screenplay call against a nickel blitz with like 10 seconds left in the half when they're trying to just run a screenplay just to see what they can get, and they end up scoring a touchdown. Those are things you obviously can't give up. And I think, Michael Taff and PK and them have been stewing on that play all off season of giving up that, like just the maniacal attention to detail that you have to have on every single play. And we fell asleep defensively for one play, but you take that away, that's 14 points, right? In the Cotton Bowl. Now, where I do think we really have success is offensively. I think we'll be able to have a lot of possessions. And I think that we will have some short fields. I'm not saying we're just going to be driving the ball all over the place on this defense. I think this Ohio State defense is really good. But I think over time and some short fields and maybe even potentially a non-offensive touchdown, whether it's a fumble return or a pick six or something, I do think we could potentially score without our offense being on the field or them putting us in a short field situation. I also think Arch Manning, one takeaway from this game will be his ability, his playmaking ability, but also his ability to manage the game and be calm and lead us on consistent drives, especially with some younger guys around him before we get into September and really start getting everybody a whole bunch of experience. This is a great revenge opportunity on the road. And the other thing is Texas has won by double digits on the road the last 2 years in environments just like this with the same type of prep against young quarterbacks. They did it to Jalen Milroe. They did it to those Michigan kids. And I think they're going to do it again. Look, Ohio State went and hired Chip Kelly for a reason. You talked about the two new coordinators. Brian Hartline is a new play caller. He's technically, if we want to get real technical about it, he was the offensive coordinator in 2023 by title. He did not call plays. Ryan Day did, but he was the offensive coordinator in 2023. And they moved to Chip Kelly because their offense was Kyle McCord to Marvin Harrison or bust. That was their offense. And they struggled in big games, which is why they went and got Chip Kelly. And I think we're going to be having some of the same conversations potentially after this game. Remember even Tran in 2021 when C.J. Stroud first started and that Minnesota game. You remember how nasty Twitter got when he was just average in the Minnesota game? What's going to happen? Like, I don't think Julian's saying C.J. Stroud. We'll see. But he struggled himself before he became obviously a top-tier quarterback prospect and now top-tier NFL player. So I got Texas winning 27-13. Come talk to me, Buckeye fans. We about to pull up, okay? This is the best I felt about a Texas team in a long time. I can tell on Sark's face and the quiet confidence that he kind of has. The dude's up here telling jokes, Tran, about our red zone efficiency. That tells me something. When he starts joking about, you were only 50% 2 years ago, and last year we were 64%. Like, I have not seen him that loose in a long time. I think Sark knows what's up.
I hope so.
What's your season prediction overall for Texas?
11-1 SEC champs. Third trip to the playoffs.
And do you know who the one loss is?
Georgia at Georgia.
At Georgia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have us losing at Georgia too, so we're not alone.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Look, this is the best I felt about any Texas team since '05. Coming into a season, I don't think we live in a world where if you go undefeated, you're special. Like you're beyond special. It's a different
You're
requirement.
Top team of all time.
Yeah, like in this day and age, especially if you're undefeated through the playoffs, right? Like that's going to be the key. But in this situation, um, you know, I've been back and forth between 10-2 and 11-1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay at 10-2 only because that's what I had already predicted on another channel, another show.
So I'm the same way. And the game that throws me off is the back-to-back weeks of Florida and OU. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the same one that you probably would factor in, like one of those games a loss.
Yeah, one of those true SEC road games where because I do think some of these teams that we really kind of beat up on last year, some of them might be better. Like Florida, you really don't know. With they run 4 straight games after we beat them, and they essentially punted on the game we played in Austin to get guys help. Like Billy Napier, I say it over and over. It's one of the smartest decisions he ever made. Was to just essentially
take the loss. Just take the loss,
sit everybody, and then brought them back against LSU, and they got back. They won out, right? But Florida's going to have to play Miami and the LSU rematch before we go down there to Gainesville. Plus, we'll both have a bye week before that game to get ready. So. I'm between 10-2 and 11-1, but I'm with you. I think we can. I think this is the year to win the SEC championship, and I'm gonna go as far as say this: if we're healthy, I think we can win the national championship this year. And I don't think I've ever said that before on this channel. I really think we. If not us, then who?
Yeah.
If not us, then who? This is a unique season as we transition to the true super conferences with the 9-game schedules. As we move past the COVID players, right? The 25 and 26, there's still some of them floating around Pavia. But for the most part, we're back to the 18 to 22-year-olds for the most part. And this is an unprecedented year in terms of highly ranked teams with first-time starting quarterbacks. There's not a lot of veteran dudes out there. 2 of the veterans are playing each other in the first game. Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
That are in the top 10. After that, you're talking about us with Arch, first-time starter. Ohio State with Julian Sayin, first-time starter. CJ Carr just won the Notre Dame job, right?
Yep.
He's a first-time starter. Gunnar Stockton technically is a first-time starter at Georgia. Ty Simpson's a first-time starter at Alabama. These are all people are picking Alabama to win the national championship. These are all teams that are bringing in that are expected to win and make the playoffs and make the Final Four, and all of them have first-time starting quarterbacks. Outside of Clemson, Georgia, and Penn State with Drew Aller. Those are like the ones that are like the main veterans of the people expected to win. If you want to go Oregon, Dante Moore had to sit behind Dillon.
Yep.
So whether you throw out more teams, they're young, or they have a transfer. Like OU has a transfer. So if not us, then who? That's my question. I mean, so I feel as though, and maybe this is just me coming off watching the Cowboys documentary. I just finished it today, which is, by the way, I highly recommend it for anybody. It's up there with The Last Dance. Because it's not straight Cowboys propaganda. It's not Jerry Jones propaganda. It's a very fair documentary representing all sides, in my opinion. And I think they did a great job of capturing the history. But the reason why I say that is that Cowboys team, one thing I didn't really understand at my age, because I was a baby. I was a child and a baby when they were winning. They were young when they were winning. They didn't wait for guys to get in. It's sad because they technically didn't capitalize in their legit prime. They won when they were like 23, 24 years old,
Yeah.
when they went 3 and 4 years. So to me, the reason why I say that and running it all the way back to this is don't miss your window. Sometimes your window is open earlier than you think it is. And for me, with this Texas squad, because a lot of people are saying, oh, next year will be the year with Arch after he's had a year, blah, blah, blah. Nothing is guaranteed. Why not take advantage right now, Tran? Think about all the teams I just named that are starting a quarterback their first year, just in the same boat as us. Why not now? There's no there's no sure thing out there like Ohio State the year before. At least you knew Will Howard was a veteran coming in. Plus, they had Judkins and Henderson. They were known names. They were already stars. A lot of people were picking Ohio State. It was kind of like if Ohio State doesn't win with that roster, then Ryan Day is really screwing up.
Yeah, he's gone.
Right? Like that's a national championship team. And they got it done. So that's the way I feel about Texas this year. I really do. I really do. I think the window can be now. But at the minimum, they need to win the SEC championship. I'm with you.
Agreed.
I'm with you there. There's going to be luck required to win the Natty. But yeah, man. Any parting thoughts before we close out?
No, I'm just excited about this season. I'm excited to see. Like I started off this chat was like every season has its own story, and it starts with Saturday. I'm excited to see this story unfold because for the start since the start of this podcast that we've done, a lot of the stories ended up to be nightmares. And this one could be a fairy tale for us. So
I hope that's the case, brother.
yeah.
Y'all hit the like button, free to show love, subscribe, the whole bit. We appreciate it. And we'll be back with our post-game stuff on Saturday. We'll make sure we do it before the Clemson LSU game because that needs to have my undivided attention. But we will have our normal live. I will also be doing some post-game stuff with Bleacher Report. So stay on the lookout for that. And yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother. I love you. I'm glad to be back here for another season. Number 1 ranked Texas versus number 2 ranked Ohio State. Drop your predictions and how you feel the season's going to go in the comments. And remember, horns always up. Hook 'em.